What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm gonna starting these off with a rap. What's going on, everybody? Doing a little bit of an early stream today because we got an announcement that President is going to be doing a live stream before a meeting that's coming up. It seems like this is going to be about Iran, and right in the time, Monday morning. So this is a little uncommon, I'll say the least, to say the least. Normally any big announcement you hear after hours, Friday evening, but there's been a lot of things going on with the price of oil. At the same time, stock market opened up green this morning. Crypto's been pumping all weekend. Things like Bittensor TAO in the AI sector doing amazing, up 60, 70%. But what's going on now? Are we coming to an end of the good times in the market? We're going to take a look at everything, guys. As always, thank you for joining Finance Freeman Live. Normally, we do these at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but if I ever have the opportunity to live stream something such as a Trump press conference or Wednesday's FOMC meeting, we're going to make sure that we do that to keep you all up to date with the latest and greatest, or maybe not even the greatest, but the sooner we know about things going on in the market, we know how they affect our investments and how to go from there. If you're over on YouTube, thank you for joining. Please take your hands, put these down, and hit the like button right there with the two thumbs, and then subscribe if you don't subscribe already. We would love to have you in the Finance Freeman family. And if you're over on X, please retweet the live stream. We're going to try to get to this president interview whenever that comes up. As always, I want to thank our stream sponsor where I do all my trading. That is Blofin. There will be a QR code on the screen for the next couple minutes if anyone wants to join. We've been doing really good there, trading Bittensor TAO, spot, even oil, commodities, everything's there. So if you happen to be looking for a new exchange, they're who I personally use, and they've been a great partner of the channel, and I really thank them a lot. And so I'll leave the QR code up for a little bit longer. I will remove the banner now because I know it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but we've got Trump coming up fairly soon, and I'm trying to keep an eye on this to see as soon as it comes up. So I'm going to set it over on my other screen just in case it comes up. And I'm not able to see it right here. Also monitoring the X account. It's supposed to be before an 11:45 Eastern meeting, which will be lining up in about 15 minutes. So let's see if we can get to this and find it here. I don't think this is it, but they just posted this. Let's take a listen to this right here. What I'm wondering is this announcing ground troops? There's a lot of stuff going on with the Strait of Hormuz right now. A lot of stuff with the oil infrastructure that we'll get into in just a second. Let's watch this posted just now to the White House X account.
Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
And 3, permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever.
I'll repeat the objectives. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It cannot have, and therefore it cannot have the things it was hiding behind to have a nuclear weapons program.
This mission will guarantee that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon.
No nuclear enrichment that can get them to weapons grade, which means no nuclear bomb.
The president's been extremely clear about our objectives, and it's that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
I just go back to how consistent the president has been on this point. In his campaigns in 2016, 2020, 2024, he has consistently said Iran can never have a nuke. He'll do what's necessary to make sure they don't.
Okay, so we will keep tabs on this X account. I personally think this conflict is more about oil than anything else, but we will see. If we look over here, Secretary Doug Burgum, and I'll show y'all, Bittensor's been doing amazing, guys, on the AI front. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but this is a Blofin, who I use for everything. We can take a look at oil right here that I did over the trade actually while I was on vacation, while I was on the cruise. Right here, as you can see down here, and I think I closed too early, but I was going out to the beach and everything, and so I definitely should have held it. But hey, never go broke making a profit trading Bittensor to buy more spot Bittensor. If we take a look at TAO just while we're here from the AI front, I'll show you a little bit of what I am looking at. And for anyone here for the crypto. So yeah, if we take a look right here, we hit 300 and we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bittensor right here. But like I said, this is Blofin if anyone was looking for a new exchange. And also coming over here to stocks, like they have everything depending on where you're at. The Qs, this is the NASDAQ, right? And it's ever since market open, it's been up, looking really good. But what's going on? So right here, stay tuned. We will be live again shortly. Nothing live yet. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. Let me move this over to my other. Y'all should see my setup, guys. I've got like 4 monitors going. I've got lights, all kinds of stuff to bring y'all the absolute best content that I possibly can. Yeah, there's the Qs right there. This is a Trump to hold White House press conference. Donald Trump said, let me check something. Donald Trump said he'll hold a news conference on Monday. The briefing will take place before his 11:45 closed-door meeting with the board of the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. He did not specify the topic, but one could only imagine. So either he's announced a new arts funding or he's about to fire someone live on TV. There's a lot of stuff right now as we come monitor the price of oil. Going on with the Strait of Hormuz. We can watch this video right here talking about it. Let's see. So they've been trying to get NATO allies to come over and help open the strait. For anyone that doesn't know what the Strait of Hormuz is, very, very small piece of land. You can tell it looks like my Lord and Savior made it difficult to get through. Let me find it just so y'all can see. So if I put it up, it's this little piece right here. Okay. And you can see Iran has the largest, land mass around it right there. And about 20% of all seaborne oil, oil that's transmitted on the through the ocean goes through there. So that's why it's a really big deal right now. But something else that came up that was interesting is that this guy, and I'm not really sure who he is, but he said a message addressed to Muslims around the world and to governments of Islamic countries consisting of 6 points will be posted shortly. This was posted right before they started talking about the Trump press conference, right? And so I'm like trying to put all these things together and figure out exactly what's going on. It would be great if there was some kind of resolution But I think everyone watching this could agree that that probably is not the likely scenario right now. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Keep tabs. And we'll have live reactions to this. We'll take a look at how the market's reacting during this. Let's see. Let's listen to this right here. This Fox News clip that they posted over on X, and see what Caroline's talking about.
President Trump is the first president in nearly 5 decades to finally have the courage to do what so many American presidents and leaders around this world have longed for, and that's to take out the threat of Iran. So yes, the president is speaking with our allies in Europe and also many of our partners in the Gulf and Arab world to encourage them to step up to do more to open the Strait of Hormuz. And our NATO allies especially need to step up. Look, President Trump has been very frank with our friends in NATO for a very long time. He got them to increase their defense spending up to 5%, and now he's calling on them to do the right thing because, again, the United States of America is leading the way, not just to support and protect.
Guys, it kind of feels like we're at a huge turning point in the world, you know? I'm in my early 30s. I've always known it, NATO, like the Soviet Union when it fell was before, my time. And funny enough, my wife's from Russia, but she was born right after the Soviet Union fell. And, it just feels like we're at a turning point, that the world order that we've had isn't going to be the world order that our kids have. Yeah, I just think this is a very big time in the world. Something that we might not know all the implications of it right now. Trump will be live. There's no news on the white. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of an interesting thing, right? So the first thing I did when I seen it was go to the White House schedule, right? And it wasn't on there. And there's multiple confirmed post about it. In fact, if we come over here, this is where I originally seen it. I'll show you. So Trump to hold this press conference. And so right after that, I went over and I looked at the White House page, right? And then I came over here and asked Grok, is this conference confirmed? Yes, confirmed per White House schedule and Trump's social post, even though I did not see it on the White House schedule. He'll speak with reporters just before the 11:45 a.m. lunch. And so that's why I'm monitoring this right here. And, I'm not a political guy. I'm a markets guy. But political stuff obviously affects markets drastically, right? And so that's why I'm taking a look at that. Yeah, but that's why it's a little weird that it's so spontaneous. And yet it's not on the schedule or anything like that. But yeah, you could see it's confirmed right there. Let's Liz Landers, who is his White House correspondent from PBS, just had a brief phone call with POTUS this morning. So this is about 3 hours ago, approximately. Just had a brief phone call with POTUS this morning and asked him several questions about Iran. He noted when he answered that it was not a good time to chat because he was in the middle of a meeting. So now let's put all this together. This was 3 hours ago, so let's assume she got this out 30 minutes after, right? It probably wasn't even that long, but let's just assume it was 30 minutes after. So that means about 4 hours ago, she was having this conversation with the president. And right after that, there was a post about the 6-point announcement from this gentleman, a message addressed to Muslims around the world, to governments of Islamic countries, consisting of 6 points. Okay, so this is like right after that. And then the reports of the press conference. right, that I just where was it? Was it this one? Wherever it was that I just noted. And then 3 hours ago, there was this update from CENTCOM, which we can watch in a minute if y'all want to see what's going on. But yeah, I agree. Kind of weird. Trump demanding NATO support when he shafted NATO with his he broke NATO. Why should Europe help? What do you I mean, it's probably in Europe's best interest. Like I said, I'm not really political, but I'm not sure how energy independent a lot of Europe is in terms of oil. But yeah, I mean, definitely shaking up a lot of stuff right now globally. And markets do not like that. Like I said, I'm a markets guy. I like crypto. I like stock market. I like money. I like trading. I like finance. But all this macro stuff affects that. Check up on oil. See, oil is down about 10, 11. Europe really needs to fix the over-reliance. Yeah, I mean, I think, from, and I'm from the United States. And so I mean, for a long time, US has spent upwards of like 70% of all the funding on NATO, and so yeah, they should definitely probably increase that. I think Trump would probably want to pull out of NATO, and that's what I mean. I kind of feel like we're at this turning point because what happens now? I seen the French president came out and said something. What's his name? Macron or whatever. He came out saying something that was basically siding with Trump. French President Macron calls Iranian counterpart, urges end to unacceptable attacks. $3 million worth of highly unusual SPY puts. These are short dated. Expiration next week. One of them expires tomorrow, and the next one expires the following day. Or the following week, excuse me. And so for anyone that's not in the finance, puts are basically a short on the stock market, betting that it goes down, right? Which I think the whole market's kind of bearish right now anyways, so it's not like a really crazy thing. But I didn't see what the strike price was on that. What the this is definitely not a popular conflict right now, and for good reason. But let's keep an eye on oil, see what oil's looking like. Bitcoin kind of double topped over here at 74K. Man, I've been trading this whole thing. I've been doing a lot of trading lately. So basically right there. But if you really look, Bitcoin trades like the NASDAQ, essentially. So if the NASDAQ goes up, Bitcoin goes up. Let me move this one over here. I meant to take that off a while ago, guys. I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah, definitely a lot of global changes going on. Strike price 641, 657. That's only a few dollars. Like what, $12? Six. Huh? Actually, it's more than that. Let's move this over. I don't know. There's definitely been a lot of inside-ish stuff going on, you know. If you look at the timing of a lot of announcements and things like that, if you go back to Liberation Day, there's a lot of trades. Whether you're over on Poly Market or looking at stock market, things are this matters in terms of oil. Which remember, guys, oil matters for everything. If the price of oil is high, inflation is high. If inflation is high, then the Fed can't cut interest rates. We've got an FOMC meeting this Wednesday, and the odds are there's going to be 0 rate cut.
So we are seeing more and more the fuel ships start to go through. The Iranian ships have been getting out already, and we've let that happen to supply the rest of the world. We've seen Indian ships go out now. So the Indians who rely very heavily on Gulf oil, we believe some Chinese ships have gone out. So that should start ramping up before there are any.
Trump briefed that Iran's new supreme leader is what? Is this your real life, guys? Like, are we living in real life? This is crazy. Iran launches a drone attack at Dubai International Airport. Okay. 12 hours ago, considering putting boots on the ground to seize Iran's Karg Island, per Axios. The move appears to be contingent if tankers remain bottled up in the Persian Gulf. Trump is working to assemble a coalition of countries to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and hopes to announce it later this week. No country has publicly committed to Trump's coalition to reopen the strait. Karg's Island accounts for 90% of Iran's oil production. You know what would be a really interesting thing? If Article 5 of NATO was called upon by the United States, because Article 5 is where basically everyone has to get in, like attack one, attack all, basically. It'd be very interesting. I think it's only been done one time in history, and I think it was after 9/11. That's yeah. NATO's Article 5, which stipulates that an armed attack on one member is considered an attack on all, has been invoked only once in history. This took place on September 12, 2001, so the day after 9/11. And we know what that led to. Very, very long, drawn-out conflict. I still remember that. I was, what was I in? Second grade? Maybe? Third grade? I remember everyone was getting taken out of class. Not me. My parents left me there. But everybody was getting taken out of school. There was only like a few of us left. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirms President Trump's meeting with China's Xi could be delayed as Epic Fury begins its third week. And then also, when does he have to go to Congress? I think 60 days you have to go to Congress. Which, I mean, what can you really do? Bro, bear run over. I'm hoping for a run soon. I'm hoping for a run. Things are starting to look okay in the markets. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's why I'm so interested in what this announcement is, because what's going to happen with stocks will carry over to crypto. A lot of things are looking good, but it's not uncommon to have a pump in a bear market either. So, so overall, if I had to guess, I do not think, and obviously, good time to say none of this ever financial advice, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some random Joe on YouTube, right? But I think I don't. I think that we get a low in the stock market. I think the stock market needs another 10% to go, approximately. I think we see, like, if we come over and look at the Qs, which is what I've been primarily shorting, I think something like 550 makes a lot of sense. We have this trend line that's been going back since last June that we broke below and we haven't got back above it. We also have this rolling top right here, which if you take the measurement of it, it's the same as a head and shoulders. And if you take that measurement, you move it down, you see it gets you like 540, 550, somewhere in there. And so I think we have that, and I think that'll, crypto will fall with it. But like I've said, I believe that the reason crypto fell first is because it's the most risk-on of risk-on assets. And so when liquidity is tight, and we're at peak liquidity tightening right now, it's another reason why interest rates are so important. But we're at peak liquidity tightening right now. I think crypto felt it first. I think stocks are feeling it now. And then the economy feels it. But the Fed would normally step in to lower interest rates. The problem is that if inflation is too high, which it's currently, if you look at CPI data, it's 2.4, which is 0.4% or approximately 20% higher than what they would want it to be. And so then when you factor in rising oil costs that go into absolutely everything, transportation, then you start getting into a scenario to where the Fed can't cut interest rates. or they shouldn't cut interest rates if you were operating the Fed under normal pretenses as it's happened in the past. Now, there is a new Fed chair coming in. His first FOMC press conference will be mid-June that the president has appointed. So we will see what happens then. How am I doing? I am doing good, sir. How are you doing? I hope you are doing wonderful wherever you are at, sir. Article 5 is problematic if we do or don't. Russia and China watching for boundaries, and Iran have hit U.S. and U.K. bases. Yeah. Dang, bro, you really want to know if the bear market's over. What about the fake Bitcoin BTC? Is that forking again or not? What are you talking about? Which BTC? There's been multiple forks of Bitcoin over the years, which Bitcoin's actually kind of made to fork. It's when there's a disagreement basically in the network of nodes. It's forked multiple times. Forks of Bitcoin have forked before. So it's not necessarily a fake Bitcoin. It's a fork of Bitcoin. But let me know what you're talking about specifically, and I'll look. Do we dump back to 60? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we do eventually. Let's come over here. Take a look at Blofin. And for anyone that just joined, we got a lot of people in here. This is our official exchange of the live stream. And there will be a link down below if anybody wants to join, or I can put a QR code up to make it easy for you. But basically, if we take a look at this, there's a couple reasons that I think we are going to go lower, basically. And I can show those to you right now while we wait. One of them is what I just said, right? Like, I think the stock market still has room to go down. And as always, guys, I could be completely wrong about all this. But, okay, something just updated. Hold on. Okay, I'll unmute that so we can hear it whenever it comes up. This wasn't here a second ago. So, one, that, right? Like what I just said. Number two, if we look at the 200-week moving average, which we're currently on the daily chart, right? So that would be 1,400, 200 times 7 days in a week. And it may not come back all the way on Blofin just because of where it was when it started. If we go over here, and I'll show you right here, and I still may have this chart marked up. So a couple reasons I think Bitcoin still has to go lower. I'll show you the easiest one right here. Let's change this to 1,400. So it's the 200-week moving average, and you're going to see it's about 58K. I'm a big technical analysis guy. If we come down here and we draw a fib from the swing low to the swing high, the golden pocket, like they like to say in fibs, is over here at 54 to 57. But the 786 fib level is common for crypto to retrace to, even the 886. I don't think we're going to the 886 fib level, but I do think somewhere in this realm makes a lot of sense. This golden pocket right here in the yellow, that sweeps basically all this liquidity right here from basically that big bear flag or bull flag that we were forming before we took off to the all-time highs. But also the 786 fib level makes sense. You've got room back here, levels back here. I had a BTC order in for a Bitcoin that I was going to put on a cold storage wallet, forget about it, leave it for my kids, at 58.1K, and I got front ran at 60K, as you can see right there. And so those are the reasons I think lower. One thing that points me more towards the 786 fib level is because if we are currently forming a bear flag, as it kind of looks like we are, right, until we break out of this and confirm, Then when you measure a flag, you take the length of the flagpole, and this is the same for bull flags or bear flags. Then you take it to the point of the breakout, right? You could even call this whole thing potentially the flag and take that down. And so it depends where it breaks out from, but this is all rough, it's technical analysis, right? Just kind of, I use it to make my best educated guesses. But you see that takes us to like 40 to 43, somewhere in there. Let's see if Trump speaks ahead of vote on Kennedy. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about disagreements in the administration right now, though. So with BTC up and TAO running, FOC don't cut rates, do you think negative impact on prices incoming? Yeah. So, and I've been sharing everything in the Discord. Like I have a Discord group. We got a real nice tight-knit community. And, I took initials off the table, some initials off the table for TAO yesterday. I got in at like 148 in the Discord. I posted it there. And so I'm basically riding for free. It's kind of my strategy always, like 2x, and I get out. And I guess it all depends on your size too. Like if you're putting $200 in something, okay, maybe not. But if you're putting, 50K in something, then, maybe you operate a little differently. And then also I'm trading actively in order to add to my spot TAO bag. Like I shared something earlier. I did a trade when I was laying in bed this morning right here. I got in at 292 on the double top on TAO. We can look at spot, it don't matter, even though I do currently have a little short going, but it was right here where it double topped at 292, and then I got out like literally, I think it was 10 minutes later, and made, so that's when I posted it, 292 to 284. I mean, I posted it in the Discord instantly, and then I closed the trade in about 10 minutes for 45% profit, which was pretty good. About 10 TAO worth on that trade, spot TAO. But TAO's an interesting one because everything else that's running right now, if we're just being honest, everything that's running is only running because Bitcoin's running, right? Versus if you take a look at TAO, TAO is running because there's actual demand in the subnet. So people are having to buy Bittensor TAO, or they're having to buy TAO in order to buy Bittensor subnets. The same exact reason Solana did so well, right? People were having to buy Solana to interact with, meme coins or whatever these assets were, or these other tokens were. And so people had to buy this coin to buy the tokens. The same thing with TAO right now, right? The same exact thing. People are having to buy TAO in order to transact. So I'll show y'all the current trade that I'm doing. And I don't have that much size on this one, but there's this trend line right here. I shorted it here. I closed it here. Then it came up and we broke down below it, rejected right there, and opened up another trade. So it's currently up a couple $100 right now. In fact, I'll move my stop loss about right there. So whenever I trade, as it starts dropping, like this morning's trade, got up $300 in profit or whatever, I move my stop loss to break even. Get up $600, move it to about $300 in profit. At one point it was up, $3,500. I ended up moving the stop loss to like $2,500, and then it, came back up to stop me out. I don't ever typically take profit. I use trailing stops because I don't want to give up any of the upside. And yeah, this is one of my accounts with them. But yeah, you just never know. So I'm kind of cautious about that. But yeah, anyone who's on Blofin, though, I'll give people a free month in the Discord to hang out with us. That'll be fun. Basically, last week, all I heard was 40K incoming, and now here we are. Yeah, I mean, it's common to have pumps, right? And the problem is that there's, the problem is that nobody wants to be a bear, right? Whenever BTC was at 100K and I posted that I thought we were going lower, everyone was telling me how stupid I was, right? Like, nobody wants to be the guy that talks about things going lower, right? Like, nobody wants to talk about that, right? And so then whenever things go up, and I'm trying to find the post, whenever things start going up, then everybody gets like super uber bullish, right? And it's just human psychology, man. And people want things to go up. They don't want to go down. But at the end of the day, I think, we have to be realistic. And I learned a long time ago that it's all in the chart. That, whatever's happening in the macro, whatever's about to be said in this press conference, it might incentivize the chart to do what the chart was going to do. But the chart's already going to do what the chart's going to do. I learned this a long time ago, and I learned it the hard way. And it's made me a ton of more money once I learned that the chart's going to do what the chart's going to do, right? Like, say something massive breaks out in the world and we drop now. Did the chart know that back in September? No, but it started forming this rolling top, all a product of liquidity, had this double top up here. And, so I'm a charts guy first, macro second. And the macro just helps me kind of have an idea of when it's going to happen. That's one reason I've always been bad at options trading, honestly. And one reason I'm a big fan of perps, because if I was to say short the Qs here, or if I was to, get an inverse ETF or something, and say I thought the market was going to drop this week, but it actually dropped in 3 weeks. Well, you're okay. You're okay, right? Maybe spend a couple more dollars in fees or something like that. But with options, you have an expiration date on it, right? And so often I've been right about the trajectory, right about the price action, but wrong about the timing for a week or two. And so that's why I'm just a super big fan of this type of trading. But obviously there's risk in everything. The breakout's what, about 85? Yeah, let's go back. And I can also show you guys the liquidity pockets. Make sure it's unmuted. So yeah, if we look at this, it's about 75. We've got this level right here that you can see will be resistance and support. And I'll say resistance and support because that's what it is. It's resistance now. So like, it would be resistance now, but if you break through it, then boom, it becomes support, right? So that's how price levels work. But yeah, it's right there. If we come over here and we look at like liquidation clusters, I use this so much. I need to just get a subscription to pay my guys, let them make a little money off me. Every time he speaks, market dumps. Yeah, that's why I'm so focused on it. Okay, so this is basically showing liquidation levels. So up here is where shorts would be liquidated. And so you can see if we do push up to that 75-ish level. So when a short's liquidated, they have to buy. When a long's liquidated, they have to sell. That's why in a derivative market like Bitcoin has heavily became, the drops are so hard and the rises are so sharp. And it's because of that, having to buy to cover and sell to cover. And so when we take a look at this, you know, if it was able to push up here, actually push through this level right here, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we came up to 79 level. The most I could see really is the 85 level, unless all the charts turned around, and I'm talking the Qs, everything. You know, crypto is not just going to run on its own. But the big thing that we had happening was gold was taking a lot of liquidity, silver was taking a lot of liquidity, and now if we take a look, if we were to come over here to Blofin and look at oil, if oil was to drop right now, we'd see stocks rally. Most likely. If we were to see oil spike up, we would see stocks drop. You know, it's just how it's been, how the game has been playing. So yeah, that was a really good trade on the on oil. But like I said, I closed it too early. Hello. Hope you had a great family vacation. Yeah, I did, man. I did. I had a good time. I disconnected a lot. I wasn't on X too much, wasn't on YouTube. I had some videos scheduled on YouTube. I have an assistant that works with me full time. He was able to keep the clips posted on X and stuff. And so now if someone replies to you, it's always me, right? It's always me. Any post like this is me, you know, everything's mainly me. But when I'm out of town and stuff, I'll have somebody help me scheduling the clips, like because he does all the clipping. And most of the time he'll send me the clip and be like, hey, can you tell me what to type for the, like I posted this, but can you tell me what to, you know, post for the, you know, the text of the clip? Yeah, it's me and my little family on a beach over there in Mexico. Had a lot of fun though, man. I sure did. They tend to put news of what happened on a chart to soothe people's mind and fears. Yeah. What's good, friend? What's up, man? Sal's in the Discord. Long-time Discord member. We were talking last night. We were on a crazy run a while back during meme coin season where we got 2 of them early, and man, what do you think, Sal? We were raking them in on those, man. That was fun. The news is that tankers have been permitted to pass over so Bitcoin goes up. You know, what's weird is that Trump said that he gave Iran permission to move vessels. And I was like, I thought it was the other way around. Can BTC go down to 49? Yeah, we were actually just breaking that down before you came in. Let's see here. Yeah, epic run. I remember people being like, hey, I made 20 grand. I made this. Man, that was fun. It'll be back, man. Liquidity will come back. 20K in a blink. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. Love you too. So yeah, let's go look at BTC. Yeah, it was crazy though. I went out and bought me a Rolex after that. After that run. So this is basically what I was showing for anyone that's just coming in about kind of the macro Bitcoin breakdown. And so basically what we have right here is we have a fib drawn, Fibonacci drawn. And when you draw a fib, you draw it from swing low to swing high. Okay, so it's basically this entire market cycle, right? And then there's a couple levels people look for. 0.5 fib levels, a big one. The golden pocket right here between 618 and 65. I tend to look at the 786 fib level. And, you know, you can back test all this. Like I always recommend people doing back testing. Like this was 14, came down to 3. So like, let's do a back test. If you run it here, where did Bitcoin fall down to? Right under the 786 fib level. Okay. And you can always back test your TA, and I totally recommend doing that when you're trying to learn technical analysis. But so we've historically, earlier cycles, we went down 80 something percent. This cycle or last cycle, a little bit underneath the 786 fib level. If we take a look at this, where we currently are, we're above the 200-week moving average, which is about 58, 59K. But if you take a look at this potential bear flag that we have forming, the breakout point for that would take us somewhere between 43 and 40K, which that's the 786 fib level. Now, if you just go off historical data, a Bitcoin bear market is typically a year. So if we come over here and we mark 365 days, so we come from right here and we mark 365 days approximately right there. That takes us to what? October 7th of this year. You know, so and they're often not V-shaped recoveries either. If you see this bottom right here, this looked like a bottom. This actually looks very similar to what we're going through right now, or even this side right here, you know, coming up and then boom, and then we dropped. And then we were down here for the period of about 2 months, you know, in no man's land. And then we came up to 24, boom, dropped down to 19, came back up, boom, boom, boom. And then we eventually had this very long bull flag that played out for about 9 months. Bought a sick game, PC. Showing Trump coming on now. Let's get to it.
So attacked the
man.
Manufacturing plants, where the places where they manufacture the missiles and the drones. And that's going on today. We just hit 3 of them today. And it's getting very hard for them to manufacture. More than 100 Iranian naval vessels have been sunk or destroyed over the last week and a half. That has to be some kind of a record. Additional strikes continue to launch from all directions every single hour. And as you know, we attacked Carg Island and knocked it literally, destroyed everything on the island except for the area where the oil is. I call it the pipes. We left the pipes. We didn't want to do that, but that we will do that. We can do that on 5 minutes notice. It'll be over. But for purposes of someday rebuilding that country, I guess we did the right thing. But it may not stay that way. Just one simple word and the pipes will be gone too, but it'll take a long time to rebuild that. We are aggressively dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, and ability to rebuild its missiles and drone capability is getting down to close to zero. And we're hammering their capacity to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz with more than 30 mine-laying ships destroyed. We hit, to the best of our knowledge, all of their mine-laying ships. Now they can put them on other types of ships, I guess, and drop them in. But we don't know that any have even been dropped in. We're not sure that any have been. That's a big negative for them if they do it. It's a form of suicide. But we don't know that they have dropped any in. But we've hit all 30 of their ships and destroyed them. They're all at the bottom of the sea. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. You know, we get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now.
Yeah. So what he's trying to show there, I think, is that, America's energy independent, don't really get a lot of it. It affects you all more than America. But it's interesting to see if they're going to come in or not.
Because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't. Some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources, and they weren't that enthusiastic.
Why they got their drinks covered? They think someone's going to spike their drink or something? Why do they have why are the drinks covered in the press conference? I mean, I understand if you're overseas, like I'm sure they bring their own water. I'm sure they don't take just, hey, Mr. President, here's a cup of water. But man, unless that's just like some rich fancy thing that I don't know about it. I don't drink Cristal, you know what I mean? I'm plastic over here, BPA free, but plastic. Actually, I don't even know if it's BPA free, man. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it does say that BPA free, but who knows? But it's probably from China, so I'm not a fancy guy, but I just thought that was funny.
And the level of enthusiasm, it matters to me. We have some countries where we have 45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from harm's way. And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, for 40 years we're protecting you, and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor. Very few shots going to be taken because they don't have many shots left. But they said, we'd rather not get involved. I just want the fake news media and everybody else to remember that was said, because I've been a big critic of all of the protecting of countries, because I know that we'll protect them. And if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time, just like I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon, which I predicted a long time ago, predicted all of this stuff. You guys were very generous in that. I predicted all of it. I predicted Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did it. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him be.
How would he know about the World Trade Center? That's an interesting thing to mention. Said it a year ahead of time. This is talking about the drinks. That's what the rich do. Go to a rich restaurant and all the drinks are covered. Bruh, I need some money. Give me some rich people money then. No, I'm just joking. But I like nice restaurants. I do. I like nice date nights. Take the kids, let grandma and grandpa watch them. Take my wife out, take her to a nice restaurant. Then we get home, got a headache. Happens every time.
interviewed one time, and I said, "That's a bad guy. You better get him." 1 year before, exactly, I wrote it in a book. You can even check. About a year before the World Trade Center then came down, President Clinton actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it. Unfortunately, I'm not blaming him for that, but he didn't take it, and he ended up knocking down the World Trade.
He didn't take it. He was too busy in the hot tub. That Epstein file picture of him in the hot tub.
Trade Center, but I predicted that too. I predicted a lot of things. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the strait for blood. I mean, you know, these people literally need it. 95% of their energy or their oil comes out of the strait, and they should be in here very happily helping us. And it's incredible. We have such great, we're number one in oil by double now. We drill, baby, drill. We're double any other nation, and it's going to be soon triple any other nation. And that doesn't include Venezuela, who's been great. By the way, the relationship with Venezuela has been fantastic. Millions, literally millions of barrels of oil are being taken out, and it's been a great help, and it's been to their great benefit. The president has done a really good job.
You know, we all think that, or we're told to think that everything's independent, right? But this is all like a big 4D chess thing. Like, there's a reason Venezuela came first and all that oil came first before doing this, where obviously the first thing Iran would do was try to close the Strait of Hormuz. And so it's all very, very strategic. And I don't believe that any of it has to do with what we're told. I don't believe that Venezuela had anything to do with, you know, narcotics necessarily. Maybe, yeah, sure, it's part of it, right? Or even the Iranian thing that it had to do with weapons or anything like that. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe it all has to do with China and trying to take, you know, energy from China and China dominance and things like that. We're going to get back to that in just a second. Let's take a look at the market, see how the market's reacting to this. Pretty mute right now, pretty mute. And so let's get back.
We get along with them really well, but we've taken out millions of barrels of oil and brought to Houston and other places for to the refineries. We have refineries set up specifically for that, and it's been a great relationship, and more and more is happening. It's a tremendous oil source, and we're stepping it up very rapidly. The big companies are going in, and they will actually numbers in a pretty short period of time, numbers that they've never been able to do. We'll be doing. There's a lot of oil under that land. We strongly encourage the other nations to get involved with us and get involved quickly and with great enthusiasm. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not, because maybe they don't want to be targeted. But I say, wouldn't matter if you're targeted or not, because this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with now. It wasn't a paper tiger 2 weeks ago. It's a paper tiger now. So now we're going to get down to the reason. We'll take a couple of questions in a moment, but we're going to get down to the reason we're here today. Actually, this was set up a long time ago. It's the Trump Kennedy Center. Over the past year, we've made incredible strides to restore.
We're going to listen to the questions, the reporter questions, but I don't care about the Kennedy art thing. I just want to know what's the implications of markets.
And prestige of this revered institution. Together, we're going to ensure it remains the finest performing arts facility of its kind anywhere in the world. And I don't know that it ever really reached that stage, but it will over a period of time. We're rebuilding it. It's in very, very bad condition. It's been it's been somewhat of a disaster, to be honest with you. It's been let go to hell.
Yeah, this is the first one that wasn't in and out, right?
They did a poor job. They spent money in the wrong places. They built some theaters underneath that nobody uses, little ones, tiny theaters.
This comment's what has, a lot of the base upset,
the money was spent
because
incorrectly.
we didn't want any new
We're
conflicts,
dealing with
especially
some
long-lasting
networks on the
conflicts.
possibility of renting those little theaters. Nobody's going to use them. They want the big halls. The halls are going to be incredible. They're in bad shape, but when they're completed, the bones are potentially typical ambassador. He was the opposite. He was very good. And during this transition period, I asked Rick if he would run it, because we wanted to see. And steel is unusual to have in building. What I do best in life is build. I build buildings really well and under budget and ahead of schedule. That's what I do. Unlike the Fed building, which is going to cost billions of dollars. It may never open. I mean, right now, we have a wonderful Kevin, a wonderful new head of the Fed coming in. I don't know if he'll ever be able to occupy this complex that was destroyed by Jerome Too Late Powell. I call him too late because he's always too late with interest. Should cut interest rates. He should cut them right now. They should have a special meeting. What's a better time to cut interest?
99.1% chance of no rate cut.
But that's a terrible thing. But what I do is build. I build great stuff. And what we're going to do is, right outside. In fact, if you look behind me, see the nice gold curtains? If you want to look into a nice foundation and you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep.
It's like, read the room. Read the room, man. We're in this big conflict.
And it holds like 98 people for dinner. But behind me, you're going to have a ballroom that this building and the people occupying it, in particular, every president for 150 years has clamored for a ballroom, a large, beautiful room. This is a
come on. I voted for him twice. And I vote on financial things, crypto and stocks and markets doing good and fiscal policy and saving my money. I don't want more taxes. I want less taxes. And, I want my money and I want to be able to make money and stuff. And then these conflicts come up that mess up my money. And then we sit here and we talk about the ballroom and about feet, Man, I couldn't afford to eat in a ballroom that night. Like, I don't care about that ballroom. I'm trying to retire. I got a nonverbal son that I got to pay for his whole life. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm focused on. Like, we got people that, burying their kids now from this conflict, and we don't care about a ballroom,
Cocktail room. And this will actually be, this whole floor will end up being a cocktail room for the cocktail area or pre-area for the ballroom before dinners.
I didn't even go to prom. Cocktails? What's a cocktail, man? Give me that bottom shelf well liquor and I'll, man, I'm a country boy. I'm like simple.
So we'll have heads of state. We can't even do a heads of state dinner. Usually what they do is they would do them on the lawn with a tent. But when it rains, the lawn is very low.
Sounds like my kid's birthday party. Outside with a tent, boy.
Swampy, wet land. And when it rains and you have the king of Saudi Arabia, we have as an example, the king of the UK, I would say king of England, who's a great guy. He's coming in very soon. And when it rains,
better?
You know what happened? The rain would go over their feet. It would be about 4 or 5 inches over their shoes. This was not good. So, and it rained a lot. So we're building finally, because I do that. And by the way, no taxpayer money. I want to put that 0. It's going to be, it's on time, on budget. It'll be under budget. We're having it under budget, other than we've upgraded it in terms of the marbles we're using. We're using onyx and stones that are incredible, but it'll be something really spectacular. I'm looking at Mr. Steve Wynn, who's over there. He built a spectacular building, and he knows Trump builds a spectacular building. I build better buildings than him. I don't care what he's.
Dude. You can't. Sometimes you just gotta laugh about stuff in life, like whether it's sad, mad, happy, frown, whatever. Oh my gosh, man. We're in this conflict. We got the queues about to roll over. I took my parents on a cruise for my dad's retirement, and he's sitting there retiring, just retiring. Don't want the market to crash. You're trying to retire, enjoy your life, and we're worried about this kind of stuff. We're about fast forwarded all we are, man. I fast forwarded a lot just besides these recent pauses.
But Steve is over here, and he really. But we made incredible strides over the past year. If you remember, I said I want to run it for a year just to see, because the place is falling down. It's horrible. Originally built. When it was originally built, it was good. It has one thing that's very good. It has great sound. I think there's a lot of luck in sound. You have some of the. And it will have the building. It's got good bones. It's got good structure. Or use real gold bullion, or you use a different color, Steve. Nobody's ever been able to make a gold paint.
We're fast forwarded all the way, guys. We got to listen to this.
It looks real. Little minor thing for the media. I'm sure you're thrilled with hearing that. But there's never been a paint. I said someday I'm going to discover a paint where you don't have to actually use gold leaf. Gold leaf is a very, very big and expensive process, but it's a beautiful thing, but not when you use paint. So we got rid of the gold columns, which looked always terrible. They look cheap and they look fake, very much like the media, actually. And we took the columns and we painted them white. Before we painted them, Matt, very importantly, we structuralized them. We replaced a bad steel that was very badly rusting. I mean, these are columns that are holding up a building, and we had to replace areas of columns that were actually rusted out because it was.
I'm gonna look at the market while and just listen to him in the background until the reporter questions come up, because that's really what I want to listen to.
In very bad shape. It's not with Matt and everybody else, and Matt now is going to take over, and he's a pro at construction, great at construction. And I think Matt would like to run the facility too. He's fallen in love with it. And I think he'd do a good job. But if I don't think he will do a good job, I'll say, Matt, you're fired. I'm getting somebody else. So you're under no pressure, Matt. Okay. It's like Bob Kraft. If a football player doesn't perform well, typically you will fire him immediately, Bob. Do you ever let them stay around for 4 or 5 years if they're bad? Not too many times, right? So anyway, I learned from him. So I want to thank also Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's been fantastic. I don't know, is Pam here someplace? Oh, hello, Pam. Good. She's been great. And the Speaker of the House, he's got the easiest job of anybody in government. He's got a majority of 2. I don't like to say 1 because it varies, but between 1, 2, and 3. And I think you're the only man that's ever lived that's able to be very happy about it. In fact, when we get up to 3, every once in a while we get up to 3. Actually, for a period of time, we had it up to 4, and then we had a death. And death is very bad when you're the Speaker and you have a majority of 2 or 3. But we had a death.
I agree. ETH's looking really good. And if ETH pops off, that's a big thing for altcoin season. So I muted him a little bit. But yeah, ETH's looking really good. It made it above all these levels. And whenever he's done with the press conference, we're going to look at the liquidity for ETH. But, if we could see something like this, like a pullback to this 2217 line and bounce off that and confirm that this 2200 is now a support level, 2210, 2217, even if we wick below it a little bit for a liquidity sweep, that'd be fine.
Very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president. And I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
What was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay, that's it was grim. That's what I was going to say. I don't think
with a heart problem, by the way. This was a heart problem.
So the long story short, the president called him.
This dude's telling all kinds of stuff. It was terminal. Well, I wasn't gonna say that. It was a grim. It was a heart problem. What?
To encourage him and thank him, and they had a conversation, and the president mentioned in the course of the conversation, you know how to get my doctors involved, and they did, and within a number of hours, they took him to Walter Reed Emergency Surgery. The man has a new lease on life. He acts like he's 30 years younger, and he walked into the conference meeting, and we thought we'd seen a ghost. And I spoke with him over the weekend, and he's encouraged and thankful, and he thanks the president for his leadership and intervention. And thank you.
He actually called Mike. Mike called me, and he said, "Sir, we're up by 3, but we're going to lose 1 by June." I said, "Who?" Neil Dunn. He's a great congressman. Incredible. He called to say that he was terminal, really bad heart. There's nothing they can do. I said, that's bad. Number 1, it was bad because I liked him. Number 2, it was bad because I needed his vote. But he really said, Mike, I'm going to last this out for the president and you. And however long I live, I mean, it looks like June is the time, but however long I live, I'm going to be voting for you. I mean, how many people are going to say that? Most of them are going to say, Mike, I'm retiring immediately. That's the end.
He's an extraordinary
man.
But
he didn't do that.
Wonder where he got the heart from.
It was really impressive. And then I realized I have doctors in the White House. The White House doctors are incredible. And they've helped me with other people. They're helping me with people right now. People that are very sick are like they're miracle workers. And I said, I have to call them. And I called the 2 doctors. They're both great. And they immediately went over to see the congressman. And he was on the operating table like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And it was a long operation. They gave him more stents and more everything that you could have. I think he's got everything that you could possibly have. And they called up. They said, sir, I think he'll be fine. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, I think he'll be fine. And Mike was telling me the story that the other day he came into a meeting for the first time.
I wonder what he'd do if Nancy Pelosi called with the same thing or something.
The new lease on life. He has more energy than.
Hopefully he would help her, right? You would hope.
Very encouraged and encourage all of us. So again, a testament.
No matter what people's political beliefs are.
To Neil Dunn and his beautiful.
She's going to do it immediately. So she just started, actually. And she's going to be in great shape. The prognosis there is excellent, beyond excellent. So.
Thank you, sir.
But who needs it, right?
That's right.
Who needs it? Amazing fighter, but it was a close second, actually. But
I want to see what he said about her.
I did it for the vote second. All right. I want to also introduce Susie Wiles, who's fantastic. She's our chief of staff, and she's an amazing person, an amazing fighter. And she announced a minor difficulty, which will be in good shape. Good shape for, he'll be around for a long time. She had a diagnosis, you probably saw it. And she's going to take care of it immediately as opposed to waiting. She said, let's do it now. I said, do it immediately.
A congressman.
That particular ailment,
Florida, I think, named Mike
the faster
something.
the better. That's the only thing I know about it. The faster the better. She's going to do it immediately. So she just started, actually. And she's going to be in great shape. The prognosis there is...
He's up here telling everybody's personal business. Hey, when'd you get your prostate check last? When you...
excellent. Beyond excellent. So...
Guys, if you like this kind of thing, make sure you subscribe over on YouTube, hit the like button, and retweet over on X, and follow me there if you don't already, please.
Thank you, sir.
But who needs it, right?
That's right.
Who needs it? So before we took over, just a year ago, the legendary, this wonderful place was, and I started looking at the leadership of this exceptionally talented and rich board. It's a very rich board. Not
I thought he was about to take questions.
everybody, but most of you are loaded. Ike Perlmutter's got so much money. Look at Ike Perlmutter. He ended up being the largest owner of Disney. Started with, was it $100 or less? It was a little less, Ike, right? He didn't
She could afford those doctors on her own, though, with all that the stock trading.
speak English, and he became the
Mr. President, we give more money to Israel than any other country on earth. Israel has free healthcare and free education, which we pay for. It's a major problem for everyday Americans. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, don't necessarily think everyone should have like free healthcare, but I mean, I get the argument. Like, if you're paying for these other people, you know, like I have a son nonverbal with autism. Like, I've never gotten a dime for any of his services. Never asked for it, but you know, whenever he gets older, I've got to find a place for him to live or live with me, right, and have health care forever. Like, it's a real thing. So I mean, I totally get it.
come to a meeting, but it has something to do with the White House, right, Ike? Right? You don't want to see me. You want to see the White House because it's a special building. But thank you. And congratulations on an amazing career. Most people don't know Ike Perlmutter. Isidore Perlmutter, and started with nothing and built a vast fortune just by deal after deal. Did you ever have a bad deal, Ike? Which was that?
Epstein.
Don't tell. See how honest he is? Most people would say no. He says one, and it couldn't have been very bad. Great to have you. So under the leadership of this board, which is, as you see, incredible.
Yeah, it's very
We're achieving a very dramatic and quick turnaround. We got rid of all of the DEI. Some of the news media loves DEI, but we got rid of it. Maybe you're right. Brought back patriotic and family-friendly programming, and last year we raised over $130 million to keep this place going. Otherwise, it would have been closed. The building, let's call it the Kennedy Center from that time, was losing so much money it could not have stayed alive if we didn't come in as a group of people and a lot of wealthy people that made a lot of contributions. So with the Trump Kennedy Center honors alone, we raised this year a record $23 million.
It's like when your dad takes a selfie, like Jim Cramer. Dang, even more puts. Interesting.
Done before with $23 million. There's still much to do. The previous management left us a facility in very bad condition. Abysmal is the word, and everything from busting pipes and leaks to serious electrical and structural problems. And some of it we fixed, but most of it we're saving for.
But we can fit 93 people in the cocktail room. You got to think about that. You got to think about that, man. It's not 90 people in the cocktail room, 93.
Celebration, not a big deal, but a little bit of a celebration on July 4th. We'll have a little party. And then after that, we close or we start construction. We're fully financed. As I announced in February, after a one-year review based on input from highly respected experts and subject to board approval today, we determined, it's a little late for the board because we've already announced it, but these are minor details, but I think everybody agrees. But subject to board approval, we determined that the fastest way to bring the Trump Kennedy Center to the highest level of success, beauty, and grandeur is to cease the entertainment operations for a 2-year period of time as we complete high quality, really high quality construction. We've already purchased seating as an example. We've already purchased a lot of the marbles and some of the things that are hard to get. Getting quality marble is very hard. Takes a long time. It comes from areas where it takes a long time to mine. And we're getting some of the...
I'm over here having a trade and invest. And I mean, I love this stuff. I'm just joking, right? But come on, dude, read the room. Get to the dang questions.
We are fully funded, ready to go. And we have tremendous amounts of money coming in from some people around the table, but also from people that are not here, but that have made very generous.
But while we're letting him get through that, yeah, basically how I trade, I look for confirmation of a break, or I try to do the top like I did this morning. Basically got 10 free TAO from that trade this morning. This was a smaller one because I didn't know if I was going to get stopped out, but basically seen this breakthrough retest of this trend line that failed, and then took it. And then as the trade goes, I just continue to move my stop loss down. And so now if we break above this high, I'll be stopped out and in profit, right? And if we continue to drop, like if we just look, this is within the last couple days. Like, say it does make a new low this cycle and I keep this trade, that's a pretty good trade, But like, let's say we come sweep 200, like what we broke out of, like say 220. It's a pretty good trade. We'll see if it happens. This level up here, like we need a pullback on TAO. If we draw a fib, a 618 retracement would be 202. So that actually makes a lot of sense. If that plays out, I definitely should have went in with more size. I didn't go in with a lot of size. Just like $700 or something. But as always, guys, never financial advice, just what I'm doing, my trades and stuff.
Never given to it before and would never have given it except I asked them to give. So, Rick, I thank you very much for the job that you've done. And I'm
what I'll say about the crypto thing is I think it will help, even though it short term it doesn't look like it, even though they extracted us with Trump coin, Melania coin, all that. The fact of the matter is that we did have a anti-crypto SEC. And we've got clarity now on like what a meme coin is, which whenever he launched it, it was like fair game for exchanges to list anything. And then we got the Genius Act last year that made stable coins back to 1-to-1 by the US dollar and some other things. And then we're hopefully going to get the Clarity Act. So even if in the short term it doesn't look like it, I truly think that the administration and what is going on will benefit cryptocurrency long term and adoption. But I understand it's hard to try to see that right now. I do understand.
The artists, they took a pounding from Rick.
TAO's top price in bull, man, it could get crazy. We'll come back to him. So the technical target for the bear flag was like 310. It doesn't look like it hit that. It hit 300, which is pretty close, right? 300. You have to know what huge psychological resistant levels are. I even took some off around like 275 because it was this downward trend line. So that could be something that we retrace to. If we're very strong, it'll only retrace to that, but we have to see. But I try to keep everyone updated on everything. Obviously, Discord gets it first, especially because they're all on Blofin and stuff. But, I made this. And like I said earlier, the reason that, a lot of people are like, hey, when's Kaspa going to pump? Kaspa's going to pump when people need to buy the coin in order to buy tokens. And so I put that right here. I made a post yesterday. Let me find it. And then I'll tie this all together for you all. And so, the reason Solana pumped is because of the fact that people had to buy Solana to buy meme coins or buy whatever. And so I put Kaspa and TAO are two great plays. However, there's a great lesson to be learned in demand. Solana ran because folks love Solana, not because they love Solana, but because they needed SOL to interact in the ecosystem. TAO is running because people are running to invest in subnets. That's what's happening. There's a lot of people that are investing in these subnets right now. And that's originally what made me short this morning, is I seen a lot of outflow on the subnets. A lot of the subnets were down 20%, something like that, which is normal, right? Normal to get a pullback, normal for things like that. But that's what's causing that demand. So whenever VPROGs are out, or if IGRA L2 gets real popular, and there's meme coins, and there's artificial intelligence projects and things like that, where people are having to buy the coin to buy tokens or to buy assets and interact with the network. That's why Ethereum did so well last cycle. You had NFTs, you had the OG meme coins, things like that. It's like a lot of people don't like meme coins. I love them. They're fun. I look at them no different than I looked at the blackjack table when I was on the cruise, like as a total degeneracy fun type thing. But bottom line, they bring a ton of interest into the ecosystem. Normies love that. And so I say all of that to say, with a potential TAO prediction, and I don't really do too much predictions anymore because I learned you're always wrong. But just to put some things in comparison, if we look at artificial intelligence and you think of how big AI is right now, artificial intelligence is huge. And if you look at OpenAI wanting to IPO on the stock market at 800 billion market cap, you look at XAI and SpaceX wanting to IPO at over $1 trillion market cap. And then you also have Anthropic, and you have Meta, and you have these couple different AI companies. Huge, huge, huge market caps, okay? Close to $1 trillion market cap. Some of them are wanting to IPO at. When you take a look at that, and then you come over here and you look at the overall market cap of crypto, like the overall market cap of crypto right now is barely more than what XAI and what OpenAI are going to IPO at. Okay. When you take a look at, OpenAI behind ChatGPT, they want to IPO at 3 times what Ethereum is. Okay. If you look at Solana, they want to IPO at 15 times what Solana is. Okay. That's huge, huge, huge numbers when we look at that. Okay. And so then if we come over there and we think about, is decentralized AI really going to be the big thing? And my bad, I exited out of it. Hold on. Sorry, Chili. I know you're going to have to cut that up to clip it and make it good, man. I'm sorry. I tweet too dang much. Dang, where is it? So if you look at those market caps of OpenAI and how much smaller Solana is than what OpenAI wants to do, and then you come over here and look at TAO, a decentralized ecosystem, that there will be demand for the TAO token in order to interact with these decentralized AI companies, essentially these subnets. You look, TAO at the current SOL market cap is 5,200 per TAO. TAO at the ETH current market cap is 26K per TAO. TAO at the current BTC market cap's over 100K TAO. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. But all I'm saying is it's not out the realm of possibility that there is a real need for decentralized AI. And it proves it when you see things like Bittensor running when the rest of the market isn't running. Like, sure, over the weekend we had a little pump. But if you come look at this, Bittensor up 50% the last week. I mean, that is huge. So there is some absolutely crazy potential into Bittensor TAO in the ecosystem. You know, and then diving into subnets more, which I want to do. You know, there's a lot of crazy potential there. AI is the key for Kaspa long term. Those AI agents are going to need to be paid, and I hope it's in Kaspa. Yeah, it's going to need to be something that's quick, cheap, and efficient. TAO said, "Oh, hey, buddy, I recognize you from X. What's up, buddy? Hello." We're talking about TAO right now and some maybe not so crazy price predictions. We're also trying to see what the president's talking about so we can hear about
Anthony, you're here with your wife?
What's happening with the thing in Iran. But basically my strategy right now with TAO is buying spot TAO and then trading TAO on perps in order to acquire more spot TAO. You know, like if the chart's going up and you think it's going to go down, I mean, you know, my $1,000 short ain't going to change the chart, right? You know, and trying to pile into my spot position as much as possible. Because like I said, what if, you know, these are life-changing types of numbers potentially. Back to work. Hey, Sal, see you in the Discord, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Let's see.
Anthony, NATO, because NATO is us. We worked with them, and we built the greatest military. Get there, you know, that went quickly. It wasn't the Olympics, and I claimed the World Cup because I did get both progression, and then we have the Olympics coming. I was by the normal progression, 250-year celebration. I said, I got that. They want to thank everybody. This board has been incredible, and it's an honor to have you all here. It's so many of you, Jimmy, so many.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not CNN, I'm Daily Wire, but thank you for the question. Numerous countries have told me they are on their way. Can you give us a hint what they are, what that entails, how soon they might be there?
You mean who are the countries?
Yes, sir.
I'd rather not say yet, but we'll be announcing a Marco Rubio.
He won't say who the countries are, but he'll tell all these people's personal health problems. Oh, yeah, it was his heart. Yeah, it's his heart. And then this poor lady next to him, you're going through a lot. Oh, man.
Rubio and the various people that are doing that will be announcing. And we do, I have to tell you, we have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. They've already started to get there. You know, it takes a little while to get there. It's like, in some cases, you have to travel an ocean. So it doesn't go that fast, but it'll go fast. And we have some that are fairly local that are doing it. But we'll give you a list. Some are very enthusiastic and some are less than enthusiastic. And I assume some will not do it. I think we have one or two that will not do it that we've been protecting for about 40 years at, you know, tens of billions of dollars, Mr. Speaker. So I'll be reporting that to you in the House and the Senate, and I'll say.
I got thirsty, and I texted my wife like 20 minutes ago, like, hey, baby, can you bring me a water? And she didn't listen. She's outside in the garden. So I was like, babe, stop planting your cucumbers. Can you bring me a water? I'm over here. Can't talk. Oh, I'm just joking. Well, actually, I'm not joking, but joking about the not being able to talk thing.
Why are we protecting countries that don't protect us? And I've always felt that was a weakness of NATO. We were going to protect them, but I always said when in need, they won't protect us. Now, this isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. But I will say that we built the greatest military in the world, and we protect people. And if we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us because we've helped them for years stay out of wars. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can you tell us if you have spoken with French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz? Have you been speaking with the French president?
What does that mean?
Have you been speaking with the French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I have spoken to him. He's been on a scale of 0 to 10. I'd say he's been an 8. Not perfect, but it's France.
Are you
We don't expect perfect.
Are you confident that France will help with the reopening of Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think he's gonna help. I mean, I'll let you know. I spoke to him yesterday. I don't do a hard sell on them because my attitude is,
Oh man, him talking about the French is funny. But look at this cup my wife brought me, guys. You got a golden retriever. And it says Santa Paul. Okay. My wife's from Russia, and she's totally Americanized now. She's all bringing me these pretty little cups for my water. It's funny. Genuine my top subnets, we'll get into it right after this, and then I'll show people TAO stats and we'll go over that. And then I'm going to make videos of I need to make video about root, alpha, subnets, and how to invest in those two. If China's going to invade Taiwan, now it's time to do it. Yeah, we can go over some stuff with that in a little bit. There's been some reports of additional activity over there.
we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them. But it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I was very surprised. I told him, we requested 2 aircraft carriers, which they had, and he didn't really want to do it. And then right after the war essentially ended, meaning they were obliterated, he said, I would like to send the aircraft carriers. I said, I don't need them after the war has ended and won. I need it before the war. So I was very upset not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved. Yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
President, you mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives.
We're listening to this question in just a second, but I want to mix it up a little bit. I want to answer these before we get into TAO stats. We're going to, but that'll be a segment kind of on its own. If Bitcoin goes down 60, what's the lowest TAO? That's the scary part about trading TAO right now, is because if you take a look at it, all of this run, like, let me come over. Here. That's what I like about Blofin too. They've got TAO spot and futures. So I can trade, I can buy spot, I can do whatever. And so if y'all are looking for an exchange, they are the official stream sponsor of us. But the scary part about trading this is that TAO is not moving as a proxy to Bitcoin right now. Everything else is moving as a proxy to Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Bitcoin up 6%. Okay, yeah. ETH up more. Okay, XRP. But everything's only moving because Bitcoin's moving. but not Bittensor. Okay. TAO is moving because there is actual demand for these subnets right now. Actual demand for these subnets. Okay. And so, when you just to answer the one question. So Templar is the one that's been very popular right now. Large language model. So think of that as competing with like OpenAI or XAI or one of those. Shoots is a real OG one. It's been number one for a long time. Since I was able to see. So it's really hard to know, is it going to drop? How much is it going to drop? Are we going to have a TAO bull run all on its own? Like if there's a real demand for the TAO token, not speculation, not any of this, real demand for the TAO token, real demand for decentralized AI. That's why I was screaming, a month ago that it was the most asymmetrical play that I could imagine. Is because of the fact that there is so much real world demand, or will be real world demand, in my opinion, for decentralized artificial intelligence. So those are the only two that I've looked in very, very deeply. Okay. And I wanted to show this other one that I've been doing research on, and it's an older one. Let me see. Can I filter by subnets like this? Was it this one, subnet 8? Yeah, I think I was looking into this one also. TAO Outsider, let me know what your like top 5 or 6 subnets are, because I've noticed, just like kind of like meme coins and stuff, like there's some that are trash, some that probably aren't good. But at the end of the day, I think I've seen something crazy. Like it cost a ton of money to open up a subnet. And so it's not like there's a pump fund of subnets, right? So you've at least got to be somewhat legit to open one. Like it costs a lot of TAO. I think I've heard good things about IOTA, but I'm still getting into learning all the individual subnets and everything. But this Templar one is one that had a lot of interest in it recently. And you can see this right here, 75 mil market cap. I mean, there's meme coins that have ran to billions of market cap before, right? I mean, and when you look at TAO only sitting at 3 bill market cap, I mean, Shiba Inu is worth more than Bittensor TAO. Shiba Inu at the all-time high market cap was 42 bill, and has absolutely zero utility, right? So that alone would be like a $3K, $3,500 TAO. Templar got amazing momentum in this correction right now. Not promoting my bag. Hey, man, show your bags. It's all good. But no, you're right. Like that one, large language model. But that's what's so cool is it's all these individual companies for Bittensor. That's what all these subnets are. And so people have to buy the TAO token to get access to these companies or these subnets, and they could do different things. One could be image generation. One could be for prediction markets. One could be for large language models, right? Anything you could think of a special artificial intelligence use case for. It's the best play I can think of for real world demand. And so my that's the worry about where it could go if it gets in a drop. Bitcoin Bull 150, 170 is possible in this scenario. Yeah. So like if we come over here and take a look at the chart, I got too many daggone tabs open. And if we kind of draw, and like I said, I'm trading this and adding spot. But if we come down here and we draw a fib right there, a stronghold would be 221 at the 0.5 fib level. Still a stronghold would be between 203 and probably 200 would be what they call the golden pocket with fibs. And then 786 fib level would be 176. And y'all know I talk a lot about the 886 fib level. This is very popular with meme coins, with anything that's volatile, and that's down at 161. So I agree with this, but the risk is, like I said, how much demand do these subnets bring in? Because people have to get TAO in order to get access to these subnets. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. In my opinion, TAO has smart money getting positioned. That's why we pump above average, in my opinion. Probably Grayscale or another new player. Yeah. I mean, definitely. If you look, Grayscale was shilling it this morning. If we look, and the founder behind Grayscale, he was an early investor in I was supposed to Grayscale. Look like a doofus. Early investor in BTC, and he's been talking really big about Bittensor. Interested in TAO exposure. Bittensor TAO helps leverage economics. So this was 2 hours ago. And something I'm really interested in buying, like, I don't know, man, maybe like 10K in like an IRA. And like I said, none of this is financial advice, what I'm saying throughout any of this, guys. I'm just a random dude on the internet. But one thing that is interesting to me, and I don't know if I've shared this yet, but there is a company that's basically the micro strategy of Bittensor TAO. And this has a market cap of not that much, 46 mil. Okay. And so you could see from the lows, it pumped 600%. And even currently it's up 241%, which is more than what Bittensor did, right? So this is like a leverage thing. Now I want to look into the balance sheet and see like how much TAO they hold and stuff like that. I haven't looked into that, but I have chatted with the CEO very slightly. We're in a group, and actually this gentleman, TAO Outsiders, in that group. And so but this is something that I'm interested in. Like, okay, if TAO goes down and this crashes, like, this is an IRA, right? This is like a 30-year outlook for me, and obviously I could sell it if it mooned or something like that and went to $1,000 a share or something. But, something that I'm not, it's not my trading or my smaller investments. It's like a long-term outlook. So let's listen to this. This was about oil, which is very important for all of our bags.
Putin fears us. He doesn't fear. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
President, you mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives from the Middle East. What is the status of your conversation with President Xi in terms of getting China to cooperate, in terms of making the Strait of Hormuz safe for those oil tankers?
Yeah. So China is a great example. They get 91% of their oil from the Hormuz Straits, which we protected for years. And it always bothered me that we have these countries. Japan gets 95% of its from the Straits, the Hormuz Straits. And it always bothered me that we're protecting and we don't need them. We didn't need them before we started dig we must. Dig me must. That's the Trump policy of lots of oil. And we didn't
dig we must
use them very much. It used to be at 10%. Now it's at almost zero. We don't need, we don't need oil. We have all the oil we need for ourselves. It's one of the great assets that we have. We have more than double what anybody else in terms of oil production. We're at more than double any other country. So we don't need it, but we did it. It's almost, you could say we did it out of habit, which is not a good thing to do. But we did it because we have some good allies there. We have some great Middle Eastern countries there, Israel there. So we did it for a lot of reasons. But it always amazed me that we did it. We never asked for reimbursement. And it was really there to serve other countries, not us. And by the way, we have the Sugar King. The same story. Look at that. Alfie Van Hoel. Alfie, thank you both very much. Huh? That's Pepe here. Pepe. Hi, Pepe. How are you? How are you? Is Alfie in the backstage? Huh? Is he sitting back there waiting for you? No? You doing all right? Pepe is a great friend of all of ours, I think, in the room. Tremendous. And we appreciate you being
Is that what he's talking about,
Great-
Pepe the
great to have you.
Frog?
Thank you.
Mr. President, honored.
That's great. Both of you. Thank you very much. So go ahead, please.
Mr. President, you've said that Iran does want to make a deal. Now, into the third week of this bombing campaign, what would that deal look like? What are the ask that you're making of the
They
government?
want to make
of
a
Tehran?
deal. They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Don't forget, they are a country that for years, I didn't know this until recently, they're a country based on disinformation. And now they're using disinformation plus AI. And that's a terrible situation. That's a terrible situation. They showed all sorts of things happening in the last 2 weeks that never happened. Between their kamikaze boats that don't exist, between blowing up the aircraft carrier, one of the great ships in the world, the Abraham Lincoln, on fire. They showed it on fire. I called the general. I said, General, what's with the Abraham Lincoln? It looks like it's burning down. No, it's not burning down. Not a bullet was ever fired at it, sir. They know better. They said, this is my first glimpse of AI and what they've done with it. They showed buildings in Tel Aviv burning to the ground, high rises burning. They showed buildings in Qatar. They showed buildings in Saudi Arabia burning, and they weren't burning. They weren't hit. It was all AI based. Terrible. It's terrible. And that's their only, I think that's the only thing they do well. They're negotiating. And we always talk. When, somebody said, well, would you talk? Why would you even talk to them? I talk to everybody because sometimes good things come out of it. But I don't know if they're ready yet. They're taking a pounding. I don't know if they're ready yet. And we don't even know their leaders. Look, all of their leaders are dead, as far as we know, but they're all dead. We don't know who we're dealing with. We knocked out the first group. Then the second group met, 88 met to pick the leader because the first group was all dead. And the second group got knocked out. They're all dead. Then the third group met. I would think they're a little nervous about meeting. I don't know if they're nervous. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're crazy. If they're not nervous, then they're crazy. But we met with the next group, but we don't know who their leader is. We have people wanting to negotiate. We have no idea who they are. Yeah, please, Peter.
Not a textbook cup and handle, but it could potentially be that. And that's taking it to 86. And that's probably the highest I could see it going right now. But, man, guys, we got a lot of people in here. Like I said, this is Blofin. If anyone does look for an exchange that has basically oil, stocks, crypto, everything depending on where you're at. But as always, nothing's ever financial advice. But they are the official paid sponsor of the Finance Freeman live stream. But yeah, this could potentially be a scenario for BTC. It's not the prettiest looking cup and handle. You have this breakdown right here. Typically, you wouldn't want to go down this far, but hey, it's technical analysis and you never know. But this right here measures up perfectly to this line of support and resistance that had been a long-lasting level of support and resistance. And so that's really the highest I could see us going here and then reevaluate. But this is looking very strong. It's looking very strong. If we can hold above this 73.8, basically where we are now, and not break down below, I think we're looking really good. But I'm cautiously optimistic, I will say. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, cautiously optimistic. Emphasis on cautiously optimistic. Emphasis on both. Emphasis on both. Let's listen to this last question. Sorry, guys. I know it's muted.
First group. Then the third group met. I would think they're a little nervous about meeting. I don't know if they're nervous. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. And he hasn't spoken because the Ayatollah would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne, not as nice as a throne. And
the new supreme leader. What
wanting to negotiate, we have no idea who they are. Yeah, please, Peter.
Thanks, President Trump. What are your advisors telling you about the Ayatollah's son, the new supreme leader? What are they telling you
Well,
about
it's
him?
not only them, it's you people. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's badly disfigured. They're saying that he lost his leg, one leg, and he's, been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. And he hasn't spoken because the Ayatollah would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne, not as nice as a throne. I like the English.
Not gold all over it.
But it was a fancy chair, but he'd spew hate from his chair. But you'd see him a lot, right? This one we haven't seen at all. So that could be for a lot of different reasons. We don't know, Peter, if he's dead or not.
Now that you've announced,
I will say this: nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
So it's not like an election like that. So the Ayatollah is a religious leader, and it was basically appointed by the Islamic Republic Guard or whatever they call it. So it was basically like whoever was left of the same regime appointed his son. So it wasn't like it's a democratic election or anything like that.
Well, we could.
From my understanding, I'm not no scholar or anything, but I do try to do a lot of research in this stuff.
But it takes two to tango. We have to get people to take their $1 billion ship and drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and these ships are very expensive. They could cost up to $2 billion. So they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set, we don't know if they even set any mines. But the thought that they may have is enough to keep people from saying, we don't need it. Now, we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it.
He's shilling Pepe, yeah, pretty funny.
Like really pounding it hard. And
that's what she said.
Again, they may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine droppers. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the strait. And I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
If the United States is working to secure the Strait of Hormuz for the benefit of other countries like China, and our allies aren't yet stepping up to your standard, is the United States getting back to being the world's policeman?
Look, the United States should not be very much involved. They can on a certain basis. They've been doing it for a long time. But I've always said, if you look back years ago, I said, why aren't we being reimbursed? These are the richest countries in the world. why aren't we being reimbursed for maintaining the Hormuz?
Well, guys, it doesn't look like that was a huge news breaker. It was good to listen to. I think we should always stay in tune with what's happening with oil, what's happening with macro. Bitcoin looks really solid right now. Let's go look at oil and see how oil reacted to the speech. It's dropping even more. You know, it's really hard for me to believe that the top's in for oil. Really hard to believe. But it would be good for the economy if the top's in for oil. Like, I don't want to be selfish and hope I can long oil or anything like that. Like, it's, you know, oil being low is good. ETH looking amazing at 2,300 bucks. Look at this Ethereum. Ethereum came down, hit a low, came up here, tested, came up, and just looks absolutely great. I mean, it looks great. I wouldn't mind seeing a retest and then a go, but either way, I'll take it. Ethereum looks great right now. Absolutely great. But all right, guys, I think we're going to close that out. Everything looks good. Like I said, shout out to Blofin. Couldn't do this without them. If you're looking for an exchange, totally recommend them, but I don't recommend any individual investment or anything. Always do your own research with that. And we will be back tomorrow, normal time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We went early today because of this conference that was kind of impromptu. You know, that art thing was already planned, but the rest of it wasn't, right? That's part of talking to the press about everything. So yeah, we will definitely be back tomorrow, guys. I hope you all join. Well, it's been really good to see you. Yes, sir. We will see you. Everything looks good. That's what we want. We want the markets to be pumping. We want to pump our bags. We want the global conflicts to be over with, and we want to be able to make some money. But funding rate is going up, so the shorts are stepping in. And while the shorts are stepping in, if we can squeeze the shorts, then that would help us pump. Funding rate negative. Yeah, so right now, shorts are paying the longs. But guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow. I love you all. If you don't subscribe on YouTube, please do. It would mean the world to me. Click the like button. It'll help people watch this stream after it's over, and retweet over on X if you haven't. I love you all, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.